Hey guys, Mike here from Lunch Money Comics. I'm here with the little Lunchables, my son Jack. Today we are in Meriden, Connecticut at Brickhouse Comics, a huge comic book and collectible warehouse. I've been here many times. They have these big sales every once in a while, but Jack's never been here before. So you ready, buddy?
Yeah, sure.
Should be fun. Let's check it out. Hey. Wow, there's a lot of people here today. Wow, we got a lot of cards today. Cool.
Have a good day, guys.
It's like a wheel of fun stuff here. Jack can't help himself.
Where the guys going?
Right? I need to know that.
How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
It's that good wall, buddy. Cool, huh?
No, orange and green.
Yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon people here today. First Absorbing Man, very cool. It's a nice shape too, that book. Jack, you want to see a ridiculous cover? Here. Look how the Watcher looks in this. This always makes me laugh. What is going on? He's like a gigantic baby.
It's like Kingpin, but face is like
Yes.
stretched in one way.
Yes, if Kingpin was, 100 feet tall. That's cool. First Lilith. Red Hulk, that's neat. I like the silver variant of this, that's always neat. Cool. These are in high grade. Here we have an Italian first black suit Spider-Man. Hold on. It's a signed with a remark. Neil Gaiman signed it. That's pretty crazy. Cool. Some cheaper stuff there. Busy day. What do we got here? Speaking of Neil Gaiman. Whoa. Dream Hunters. Oh. Neat. I do like these a lot, but this is something I kind of want. These are the half-price keys, so $7.50 maybe.
All right, well, love you guys to pay attention.
Oh man, there's so much stuff in here. All right, I have Jack working for me. He knows what to look for. Find something good, pal. Or just interesting. Sell it for interesting, right? Oh, okay. Yeah, kind of beat up. Oh, that's fun. That's cool too. Sandman. These Sandmans are very tempting. I'm reading the series right now. 7. Oh. I've never seen this before. Look at that. Hey, look at Nightcrawler with the dome on his head underwater. That's cool. I actually like that. And I'm finding so many interesting things in these back issues. Where is it? I just saw a second of Robin Hood. I know this one. Look at this. What is this? Classic Comics, Arabian Nights. That's crazy. That's cool. I don't know why this speaks to me that much, but it's half price, so for $12.50, I think I have to have this. That's so neat. It's almost like a pulp. Jack, look at this. First Batgirl coverless.
Whoa.
It's coverless, but hey,
Yeah.
if you need one, it would be $60. That's kind of cool. Huh. Yeah. Another, look at that, Jack. Another Sandman signed by Neil Gaiman. So it'd be $50. Interesting. Oh, early 60s, obviously. Look at that. Signed by Ed Brubaker. First appearance of Vulcan was right there.
Oh, creepy.
Yeah, I really want First Living Mummy. Really looking for Living Mummy. That's cool. It's more.
People really like Sandman, consider that they're just a key whether or not it's actually true.
I love these later printings. They're $20. Oh, cool.
And that's besides the first six.
That's cool. Alright, I gotta show you this, Jack. What's up with that? So in the 90s, they had something called the Amalgam Universe. It was Marvel and DC combined, and they made a character, Darkclaw, which is a combination between Batman and Wolverine. And I remember this when I was about your age. I thought this was the coolest thing. So this would be, hey Elf, this would be $40. That's way higher grade than mine. For a Squirrel Girl. Tempting. Oh yeah. I think it's a playset.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it opens up.
What are you playing with down there, buddy?
Huge. Okay. I thought it was a regular statue. Okay.
Definitely not a regular statue.
Yeah.
Whoa, hold on, Jack, look. First appearance of the Red Skull in the Silver Age? I don't think I've ever seen this book before in person. All right, guys, that was sort of an impromptu comic book stop. Wasn't planning on even going, but we were in the area, said, hey, we got to check this place out. Didn't plan on buying a lot. I wouldn't say I spent a lot, but I definitely got some pretty cool things. So did Jack. So let's go home, show you guys everything I got on this impromptu comic book stop. Train's always messing up our footage, buddy. So there you go. That was Brickhouse Comics in Meriden, Connecticut. I've talked about this place on my channel in the past. It's owned by a guy named James, who I know from all the local New England comic book shows. He's almost always set up, but when he isn't, he opens up his sort of warehouse garage a couple of times a month on a Saturday. And you saw in the footage, it's not just comic books, it's vintage toys. And on this day, they were actually having like a Pokemon card expo on one side. It was a very cool place. And honestly, we weren't really planning on going. Me and my son were actually out hitting yard sales, found ourselves close to the Connecticut border. I knew what was going on and said, hey buddy, you want to see something really cool? He's like, of course he's gonna say yes, right? He'd never seen this place, and guys, the eye candy alone, it's a cool place to go. There were a lot of people having a really fun time. And yeah, I gotta give a shout out. I actually bumped into someone who recognized me from the channel. His name was Albie, and he was there hunting for comics with his son. The difference between him and me is that his son was an adult. Yeah, it was two adult, father and son duo hunting for comic books together. And I thought that was fantastic, guys. Here I am. I feel blessed that my son wants to do anything with me right now. I'd be blown away if in 10 years my son still wants to hang out with me and go to places like this. That's all a dad can really dream of. I got to meet both of them. They were fantastic people, had a great conversation. The son, Kevin, was telling me that his dad got him into comics later on in life, and now he's totally into it. So I thought that was really cool, guys. Again, father and son, being able to bond is a fantastic thing, and just one more thing that comics kind of bring us all together. It was great meeting you, Albie and Kevin. Before I show you the comic books that I got, I hate that I have to say this, guys, but in a lot of my videos I do on comic book shops, comic book shows, and even like these big warehouse type sales, I hear a comment an awful lot, and it is, the price tags on those comic books were too high. I hear it almost in every single video, guys, and honestly, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with that comment. Like, I've always said this, I sound like a broken record. It's not the price on the book, it's what you pay for them. That's what matters. And all the books that I got in the half-price boxes. And I'm going to anticipate the next comment that I know I'm going to get, which is, oh, whenever people just, put a sale on the comics, they mark the comic books up, so you're not really getting a good deal. Yeah, we know that lots of sellers do this, but here's the thing. Something else I think people fail to consider, especially with larger comic book vendors, like ones with literal warehouses, is how impractical it is to reprice hundreds of thousands of comic books whenever there's a shift in the market. I mean, think about it. If a lot of these books were priced during the comic boom, now that it's coming back down, should you reprice every single one of them with a new sticker, or just put up a sale sign and lower the price of everything in bulk down to fair market value? I think that's a really obvious business solution and a huge time saver I think a lot of people fail to consider. But here's the thing. James not only has those prices to begin with and not only has them at a sale price, he's also willing to negotiate all of his prices. That's just the starting place. So again, guys, it's not just the price in the book. It's not the sale price even. It's what you pay at the end. And I think I paid a great price for all three of these books. So just please, guys, I love everyone's comments. Spare me that one. Spare me that one. I get it every time, and there's nothing I can do with that comment. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Other than these comic books are awesome. Before I show them to you, if you like this sort of stuff and you want to support the channel, head on down, hit that like button, follow me on Instagram under Lunch Money Comics IG. Let's start with this one. Actually, no, let's not start with this one. Let's start with a comic book that I didn't get. I think you all saw that coverless first appearance of Batgirl. Yeah, that was interesting, right? Honestly, even if I could have got it cheaper, I would have got it for like maybe $50. That book is cool, but I love the cover of that book. If I'm going to own that someday, I want the cover. I almost got it, though. I just want to say that. I put a lot of comic books that I saw that you saw in the footage back at the end. I'm still trying to save money. I only ended up with 3. But this comic book is not one I ever would have thought, like when the day started, I'd come home with, because I'd never seen this book before, but it just spoke to me. You guys know when that happens? You see a book, you're like, I don't know what that is, but I need it. And that's what we have here. This is Classic Comics number 8. It's from 1946. And this is all about the Arabian Nights. So these classic comics down here, in the early 40s were published by Gilberton Publishing. And yeah, looking on the inside, you can see the other stories they would tell. They were, again, classic stories. So on the inside, they mentioned they had, Alice in Wonderland. They had, The Adventures of Marco Polo. They had Aesop's Fables. Clearly, I didn't read past the letter A's. No, they had like some Mark Twain stories, Huck Finn, stuff like that. But this one here is all about the Arabian Nights, and this is actually the 3rd printing. Yeah, when I went to look up this book, I noticed that there were actually multiple printings of it. The first printing was 1943. I wasn't sure which one this was. Well, after a lot of investigative work, you don't just look in the inside and see what printing it is. You had to tell from the inside ad. I figured out this is the 3rd printing, meaning 1946. So that's fine and all, and you see these old classic stories all the time, guys. But what really jumped out to me, of course, was this amazing art. So the artists that were listed are Lillian Chesnell, a woman, and Fred Eng, presumably not a woman. But it's cool to have a female artist in 1946. But who wrote this book? This, collection of Arabian Night stories? Evelyn Goodman, another woman. So I thought that was pretty neat, guys, for 1946. Let alone the fact the art on this cover is fantastic. And this whole thing, I actually, for a second, thought it might have been sort of like a pulp and mostly story. Nope, the whole thing, and this is pretty thick, is all full-color Arabian Nights stories. It's awesome. It's super cool. He had this price at $25, so half price we're looking at, $12.50. And again, I'll tell you what I paid for everything at the end. I got a great deal. I probably got this for around $10. Again, looking online, I thought there's got to be something wrong with it. Sure enough, I took it out. It is detached at the bottom staple. Just the cover, barely. Who cares? The rest of the book is gorgeous. It's tight. The colors are great. It just spoke to me, guys. It's a super cool book. Happy to have a golden age. Awesome. Let me look at it. Look at the colors on it. It's just a cool cover. I couldn't say no to it. Guys, things speak to you sometimes. You can't help it. All right, next up, let's jump ahead 50 years in time. But believe it or not, these two books actually have some vague, small connective tissue. Tenuous at best, but bear with me here. I'll explain. This is Sandman number 50 from 1993, of course, written by Neil Gaiman, who invented Sandman. And the pencils in this are by P. Craig Russell, although the cover is done by Dave McKean, who did all those awesome painted covers in the early Sandman run. Now, I've mentioned on my channel very recently that I've been really into the Sandman comic books. Although I've always been a fan of Neil Gaiman, at least for a long time, I never really read Sandman. I've been digging it. I've been reading a lot of these, so I was happy to pick up another Sandman comic. But obviously, I didn't get this just because it's a Sandman book. I got it because it is signed by Neil Gaiman with the COA right here. Not only that, guys, but it also came with a print of a sketch of Neil Gaiman by the artist P. Craig Russell right there on the back. So this was an exclusive that came with these signed ones. It's one of 5,000, so not exactly scarce, but, you know, not too common either, right? You know, it's still sealed in the original poly bag. And this is really cool. I mentioned that connective tissue. It's because this is actually a one-shot story. Yeah, it actually takes place in ancient Arabia. Yeah, it actually takes place, I think, in ancient Baghdad. There's like a king, a prince, a sultan who has everything. And in this one-shot story, he desires the one thing he does not have yet, which is immortality. And who does he plan to get it from? Of course, Dream, the Sandman. And this story, this one-shot standalone story, actually won multiple awards in 1993 for the best standalone story. I thought that was pretty cool. My only thing that bums me out is I can't read it. I'm not going to open this up. It's sealed. I will have to read this some other way. But it sounds fantastic. And I didn't know that, guys, when I got it, that, you know, it had something in common, kind of, sort of, with this book here. Thought it was super cool. And it's not just the story. Also, there's actually multiple, I think, like one-page arts in here. You know, like one-pagers of Sandman Dream himself done by different artists, like intercut through this. So I thought that was pretty cool, too. Anyways, let me know down in the comments if any of you have actually read this story. I'd love to hear from you. But I just think it's really cool to own something signed by Neil Gaiman. Original sticker price he had on it was $100. So with the discount, we're looking at, you know, $50. Again, I got it for even less than that. Just bear with me for a second. Thought it was pretty darn cool. This last book, guys, you saw in the footage. I couldn't live without it. It's really cool. This is Tales of Suspense number 66 from 1965, written by Stan Lee, art by Jack Kirby. And I think a lot of people know this, but Tales of Suspense, for a while here, was publishing multiple stories. You know, a story of Iron Man and Captain America. They sort of split the book and they split the headline. Of course, you know, very famously, the first appearance of Iron Man was Tales of Suspense number 39. But remember, this is 1965. Neither Iron Man nor Captain America had their own self-titled publication until 1968. So for a long time here, in the mid-60s, they were doing double billing in Tales of Suspense. So they're pretty cool comic books, and a lot of them have some pretty cool key significance. But this one here, I think you saw in the footage, this is considered the first Silver Age appearance of the Red Skull. Sort of. I'll have to explain here, right? Because a lot of times the Red Skull we think of is Johann Schmidt, the one that we see like in the MCU movies, you know, the German guy. That's the one we think of. But the original Red Skull, who was first, you know, Captain America #1, the first Captain America comic, was not named that. His name was George Maxson. Not a very German name. Yeah, George Maxson was the original Red Skull, and it was sort of a trope in these early Captain America comics in the 40s that he would kind of die at the end of the issue, only to come back. Well, later on, they introduced us to Johann Schmidt, and it's retcon that other Red Skull was sort of his henchman, like his lackey, right? And so we actually had two Red Skulls, but Johann Schmidt was actually the really big bad behind all of it. Well, in the issue before this, number 65, we get the first appearance of any Red Skull in the Silver Age, but it's the George Maxson Red Skull. And in this issue here, number 66, we finally get, for the first time since the Golden Age, the first appearance of the Johann Schmidt Red Skull. You also get his origin story. So, yeah, first appearance of the Silver Age Red Skull that we all know. But still, guys, I thought it was pretty neat regardless. You know, for someone like me who I like to collect my first appearances, but for the Golden Age characters, I can never afford this stuff. I certainly can't afford a Captain America #1. I am happy to get a Silver Age, you know, replacement. I do that for a lot of my DC characters. I'm happy to get a first Johann Schmidt Red Skull in the Silver Age. And it's a cool book. I mean, you know, it's a lower grade copy, absolutely. You know, the Captain America story is neat in its own right, but let's not forget, Iron Man right here, he is a story underwater, him going up against Atuma. Also, I think this is the first appearance of Iron Man's Mark III armor, and features the first appearance of his repulsor rays, which is a pretty famous weapon that he uses. That's his first appearance of that armor, and that weapon is in this as well. Again, original sticker price on this was $120, so half price, we're down to $60. You know, doing some comps online, I knew that was a little bit high. You know, it's not in the best shape. The top of the book's a little folded. It's kind of miscut. But again, like I said, guys, it's not the price that's on the cover. It's not the price, even that sale price. It's what you pay for them at the end. I showed all of these to James. He did the math. It was almost $250 sticker price. Half price, you're looking at $125. He sold all 3 of these along with Jack's Pokemon cards for $100 even. I think that's pretty good personally, guys. I think that's a pretty good price for all 3 of these. But don't take my word for it. Head on down in the comments. Let me know if you think that's a good price for all 3 of these. I'm pretty happy with it either way. And I love going to this place, guys. You know, Brickhouse Comics. If you're in New England or even New York, a lot of New Yorkers go up to this place. You know, check his Instagram and his Facebook for when they're having that sale. It's worth checking it out, whether you like comic books or vintage toys or trading cards. It's a cool place, and you can definitely get some good deals. And I just got to say one more time, guys, those are his starting prices. He's always willing to negotiate, not just with me, with everyone. He's a really, really nice guy. Runs that shop with his parents. I think that's super cool. It's a fun place to check out, and I got 3 awesome books, I think, at a great price. Head on down to the comments. Let me know which of these is your favorite. And that is it, guys. Keep hunting for comic books in strange and unusual places. Never take for granted the time you have with your kids. They grow up way too quick. Thank you all so very much for watching. I'll see you all next time.